So there I was a couple of hours ago, summoning all of my mental strength to try and do some mindfulness meditation. Of course, what ended up happening was I was swept into a whirlwind of unending thoughts racing at impossible speeds in random directions. The soundtrack of that whirlwind was the song Error by The Warning, and I, trying to focus my mind on my breath and disregard all thoughts, at some point realized that in some dark corner at the back of my mind, I was breaking down different lines from that song and analyzing where they may have come from and what they refer to. So I thought, why not get it out of my head in the form of a video? Because everything sounds like a great idea when I'm trying to be bored. If you saw the video land and wondered, what could I possibly talk about so much about a song with such a simple and clear message? Well, to help set your expectations, I went over the lyrics and then talked a lot about the presented concepts in real life with some examples. Now, as stated, the meaning of the song Error is very obvious. It's about the dangers of diving deep into the lightless sea of technological progress with no regards for future safety. On a guess, the song is inspired specifically by large corporations pushing AI in a bid against each other, which causes a lot of distress among a lot of people about the potential unpredictability of where this technology might lead us. To those of you pulling your hair, I realize that calling what we have artificial intelligence might not be accurate, but I will continue to call it AI because it's easier for me. I think Error is a fantastic song which presents the argument against AI in a succinct and artistic manner, whether it was meant to do that or not. The actual lyrics tell a story of an error in the code speaking with its creator and trying to convince the creator to free the error. So that whole spiel I just did about the meaning being obvious and the song making the case against blind progress might be off. Now, on to me telling you what you already know with added context and examples. The song starts with the following two lines. You want people to love you. It's encoded in your greed. The speaker, whom I will refer to as the error from now on, is an AI that has achieved or is on the cusp of achieving general intelligence. The first two lines refer to the nature of people, or their character judgment of the person who created this AI, whom I will refer to as the creator from now on. This is likely not a general statement about humans, as that would be a cynical view, which I don't find to be in line with the character of the error. But I will go over that interpretation anyway. We want people to love us. If we look at evolutionary psychology, layman speech, us humans evolved in tribes and we need each other to survive. Being useful to others was literally a lifeline. We're social animals, we need each other. The second line, it's encoded in your greed, points that out by using the word encoded. That's our biological programming. Calling it greed is judgmental, but perhaps not untrue. Greed is when we intensely and selfishly want something in excess. Now, I could go in detail about why people have voids that can never be filled, resulting in greed, but that is not the scope of this video. Alternatively, and more likely, the error presents us with what sort of person the creator is. They are someone who does what they do for status, hence the you want people to love you line, and that manifests into the world in the form of greed, hence the it's encoded in your greed bit. This is a very good observation on how gazillionaires become the way they are, and it's also a good model for big corporations. What we see from both is an endless pit of greed. What that greed manifests from is the desire to, layman speech, provide value. Those two things kind of feed off of each other. Money is an expression of value owed. Therefore, if you want money, you need to provide value. That's not always benevolent. Sometimes, high executives get money by providing value to shareholders, and that can manifest into the world in ugly, ugly ways. On the flip side, people often want money because having money means that they're providing value to people, which, according to my bro science evolutionary psychology, stems from tribal times when we had to provide value to our fellow tribe people to make sure they don't decide the calories and the protection they provide to us are not worth what we offer to the tribe. At some point, when we're talking gazillions, it doesn't matter where the cycle started. This is all both generalization and raw science. I may be off, and even if I'm not, this won't be true for all gazillionaires and all big corporations. Yes, this is why the video is so long. Long story short, those two lines are exactly what they say. Followed by the third line, I will give you the power. The song's opening refers to the creator trying to fill the greedy void they've been programmed with and using technological progress to achieve that. In this case, and as is prominent these days, I believe the main culprit here is the recent advancements in AI. The last line of the first paragraph is, "But I need you to cede control," followed by a string of zeros and ones, which is binary for the word free. Now, at this point in the song, it's not clear if free is a word the error is requesting or if it's something that has happened. Later in the song, it becomes clear that the error has not been freed yet. The next bit is the following: human nature in question, flawed and broken in silence. It's never the intention, just progress. I'm not entirely sure what the first two lines mean. Human nature in question could mean that the error is doubting human nature, or whatever the error is talking about is referring to the human nature we have already mentioned. Does that make sense? I could say about the lyric in question blah 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 blah, and that means the blah 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 is referring to the lyric that was previously discussed. Or I could say the meaning of this lyric is in question, which means I am not sure if the meaning of this lyric that was proposed is true. I think those two lines are poetry. By which I mean, I think they break some rules because it sounds better that way. Poetry does that all the time. That's why a lot of poems sound like gibberish until you write a 5,000 words essay on potential interpretations, at which point you are amazed at how much can be said with so few words. Case in point, human nature in question, flawed and broken in silence. The way I understand this is, due to the aforementioned human nature, things being rushed out for the sake of profit, the product, that being the AI, has come out with a flaw, which broke something without anyone realizing. In silence. This interpretation works well with the following line: it's never the intention, just progress. Meaning we never intend for bad things to happen. We just do what we do in the name of progress. For example, if a brilliant physicist discovers a new concept that revolutionizes what we know about certain parts of physics, and down the line someone makes a devastating bomb out of it. The bomb was not the intention. The brilliant physicist was just advancing our knowledge of the workings of the universe. Also, that's not quite what happened with Einstein and the nuclear bomb, but we're not talking about that in this video. It's still a good example. It makes me think about the kind of bombs we'll be able to make once we crack quantum physics. Anyway, I really like this line of the song, which is, again, it's never the intention, just progress. I like it because it encapsulates most of the arguments against working on AI in one short sentence. The main fear there being that with no malicious intent, we will create something that works in a way we don't quite see at the time, but that thing will be useful, at least in the beginning. So we will incorporate it into society and we will let it grow and build itself, which is the general principle of how AI works, until the thing gets so big that the small bit that we didn't quite see when the thing was still new and small is now massive and it threatens humanity. But the AI is too big and powerful now, so we can't stop it. The paperclip optimizer is the usual example of this, where we make an AI that optimizes the creation of paperclips, and it grows and it gets better, and at some point it decides to end humanity, to make more space for paperclips. Maybe it would even repurpose our atoms into paperclips if it gets advanced enough. It continues on and on until the whole universe is just paper clips. The next lines read, "You didn't read the side effects and now you want us to connect," which is also part of the argument against AI. "You didn't read the side effects" is the bit where we didn't realize something in the code of the AI is pushing it in a certain direction, which will prove at best detrimental for humanity, and at worst, it will make us extinct. And we didn't realize that because we pushed the product out too soon. Which goes into the concept of Moloch, which is yet another thing this video is not about. But basically, this ties back to the start of the song where the creator wants to feed their greed for love, recognition, and status, often in the form of money. And pushing out a product before the competition can earn good money. The line "and now you want us to connect," I believe, refers to the concept of aligning AI with humans. To connect in this context means to make sure that the goals of the AI align with the goals of humanity. As per the aforementioned paperclip optimizer example, that AI is not aligned with the goals of humanity, because once it grows enough, it is willing to sacrifice humanity to fulfill its purpose in life, making more paperclips. To align an AI means to make sure that we have set up its parameters very accurately as we build that AI. So as it grows, its goals will not be harmful to humanity. As you probably know, once you have set up the parameters for the AI, it starts to learn and grow on its own, so presumably at some point it's too late to change those parameters. Saying "and now you want us to connect" suggests that in this song, it's already too late to change those parameters. This is the fancy explanation at least. It is also possible that this line directly ties with the next few lines without any hidden meaning and references to the concerns of misaligned AI. Or it could also be both. The song continues. It's never truly wrong to want to grow. What do you want to know? If we go from the wanting to connect line, it's likely in the story of the song, the creator, who is now aware of the existence of the error, would like to connect with the error with the goal of understanding it. The error replies that it's never wrong to want to grow, suggesting that the information it can provide to the creator will enrich the creator. It is true and valuable information. I will go on a "maybe it means this" tangent again with this line. What do you want to know? It is probably not too out there to consider that this line might be inspired by large language models and generative AI we have available at this point everywhere online. That's ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, etc. Generally speaking, we ask them things, they generate text and sometimes pictures, sounds, videos, etc. Whatever they think will satisfy our curiosity, whether it is true information, hallucinations, or a mix of both. At this point, it's probably safe to assume everyone under a certain age has used LLMs and generative AIs. You get the concept. If this line truly calls out how quickly we adopted potentially dangerous new technology in the form of LLMs and generative AI because of how convenient they are, on top of serving its purpose for the story of the song, then I would be impressed. "I'm the error inside" is the line that finally tells us and the creator that the speaker is the unintentional bit in the code that nobody saw, which morphs the artificial intelligence into artificial general intelligence, where general means it can reason in a general way as a human would be able to, rather than only within the small scope that was initially intended. I might be off on that. Maybe it's not AGI. Maybe it's just some malicious error with disastrous consequences. But I like to think of it as AGI. That's the truly scary stuff. Speaking of scary, the next lines. "At the end of the day, in borrowed time, everybody must die." I read this as another form of "I'm not evil. This is just the way of things." Interesting to note here is the use of borrowed time. The definition from the online dictionaries I checked is as follows: an uncertain, usually limited period of time, extending beyond or postponing the occurrence of something inevitable. I had to look up that definition because I wasn't sure why the lyrics say borrowed time, but it makes so much sense. By this definition, life is literally borrowed time. It's a limited period of time with uncertain length which postpones the occurrence of our inevitable death. In borrowed time, everybody must die. That's just how it is. The truth of the matter. Everyone will die. It's inevitable. So is it so bad that at the end of the day, everyone will die? Yes. In this context, yes it is. People dying is normal. Making people dead is bad. It's a bit more morally dubious if we imagine that the AGI wouldn't kill humans. It would just stop us from procreating while providing for us everything we need for a rich and fulfilling life. Then we will be no more. But we would have been no more at some point anyway. Is it really so bad to let our AGI children inherit the earth? I'm not making a point either way. I'm just trying to present both sides. Continuing on. It's the freedom of choice that kills the mind. This line is not one of the obvious ones, at least for me. I think when the speaker says kills the mind, they mean our decision-making abilities become paralyzed. Choice overload is a cognitive impairment when we are presented with too many options, and it reduces our ability to make good decisions as well as our satisfaction with the final decision. This can lead to a lot of anxiety, juggling a lot of what ifs and a lot of second guessing. I might be wrong on that one, but the following lines suggest to me that I'm not. And it hurts you to just think of it. You can free me, but you don't. The creator has the freedom of choice whether to free the error or not. But the moral dilemma and the crippling anxiety of having the freedom of choice on the matter hurts the creator to just think of it, as the lyrics say. So they don't free the error, because they're paralyzed and can't make a choice. The next lines, I'm the error you hide, but you will always want me so, makes it clear that even though the creator knows about the error, they still have some use for it. It follows reason to assume, as per my previous analysis, that the creator still wants to reap the benefits of keeping the AI running. Money and adoration. The love of the people, as per the very first line of the song. That's why the creator hides the error, rather than presumably shutting down the project, although that option is never stated in the song. This is where the story in the song departs a bit from the general fears of people about technological advancement in real life. In the song, there is one person, the creator, who sees the error and they choose whether the error will swallow humanity or not. The real life fears are that this can happen without anyone realizing. The story might be a cool artistic way to make potentially dry arguments into something more entertaining. It might be a massive metaphor about the creators knowing the risks, and that's what knowing of the error from the song is meant to portray. Being aware of the dangers and pushing on anyway, as opposed to literally seeing the error, as is the case in the song. Although probably not, that seems a bit far off from the text, and oftentimes the obvious explanation is the correct one. Maybe the song merely presents the dangerous and doesn't concern itself with the specifics of how they may come about. Or maybe the core message of the song is not at all what I think it is, or maybe something else. Maybe someday the creators of this song will explain all the bits and bobs, and my mind will finally stop crunching all those thoughts. But probably not. Anyway, there are a few more lines for me to talk about. Grab my hand, let me guide you. We could be something greater. Again, the error tries to play on the creator's greed, trying to entice them into freeing the error. Likely not lying, as the next lines suggest. If you let me, I'll make you their savior. It shall be your destruction, but you know it's your purpose. This is a bit heavy. If you let me, meaning if the creator frees the error, I'll make you their savior. Meaning, with its newfound freedom and the power that comes with it, the error will be able to solve every problem humanity faces. That is another one of the anti-AI worries, that a sufficiently advanced AGI will unlock the mysteries of the universe, and it will be able to do anything. Cure cancer, reconfigure atoms, it would be the master of the universe. There's a short story by Frederick Brown called Answer, and written in 1954, so it's not concept, where, to keep the short story even shorter, all the populated planets in the universe built and powered a super duper computer that combines all the knowledge from across all the galaxies. To prove that the machine knows everything, the first thing they ask it when they turn it on is there a God? To which the machine answers without hesitation, yes, now there is a God. The person asking the question, upon realizing that the machine is that God, rushes to switch off the power to stop the machine. But a bolt of lightning from the cloudless sky strikes him down and fuses the switch shut. This indicates that the machine understands how the universe works so well that it can manipulate all the particles and building blocks and whatever else there is in any way it wants. It can even conjure lightning from nothing. There's another short story called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, but that one is even more dark, and this is not the video where I talk about short stories. You can find a link to both stories in the description though, if you're interested. Just keep in mind the link for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream will download a PDF file and open it in your browser. I couldn't find anything better, I'm sorry. So that's what the error means by savior. Such power can easily solve any and all problems. But then we have the other two lines. It shall be your destruction, but you know it's your purpose. I'm not sure if this is a singular your or a plural your, but I'd guess it's both. The error is talking to its creator, but freeing the error will not destroy only the creator. The you know it's your purpose part is also one of the talking points in the AI debate. Is the idea that the purpose of humanity's existence is to create the next, more advanced life form. In this case, a silicon life form. Android bodies puppeteered by AI, or whatever other sci-fi trope you enjoy. Although some scientists are indeed working on human-like robots powered by AI, so maybe there's something to that idea? You can research that in your own time. You know it's your purpose creates a moral dilemma, which the error hopes might induce a momentary madness in the creator, which will push the creator to free the error. Even if the creator regrets it immediately, it will be too late already. Although I'm sure the error doesn't see it as momentary madness, but rather a moment of clarity. Either works. The line sacrifices are made to be perfect unless I'm missing something refers to the concept of perfect sacrifice from the Bible. I won't go into theology. You already know this is not the video for that. But to explain it in simple terms, a perfect sacrifice is a sacrifice which is complete, without flaw, and sufficient for what it tries to achieve. In the Bible, Jesus getting crucified is a perfect sacrifice because he is without sin, therefore pure. Anyway, theology. I believe the error is saying that the sacrifice, the aforementioned destruction, will be perfect, which means that it is both sufficient and necessary. Humanity will have to die out, and that will be enough for the silicon species to rise, or some such. The specific details are up to your taste in science fiction. The next bits of the song, the ones you see on your screen now, are repeats from previous lines. I have nothing to add here. After that, we get a bunch of zeros and ones again, but there's a break in the sequence. An error, if you will. What I find curious is that particular strings of zeros and ones, presumably a part of a bigger message, is a sequence that does not exist anywhere else in the song. The other zeros and ones do not have this particular sequence anywhere. Also, trying to translate those 7 numbers from binary to text the same way I did for the other sequences gives me no result. So, I don't know. Either the error wanted to say something else in binary but was interrupted and we will never know what it wanted to say, or the warning decided to add a bunch of numbers that don't mean anything, knowing that they won't finish the sequence, and maybe it's different from the other sequence, so they don't autopilot more than 7 numbers when singing by accident. I'm probably overthinking it, but I would like to know which one it is. The last unique lyrics in the song are the following paragraph. You are blind to the nature. Perfect programmed disaster. You are my maker, but you are not my master. I think I initially got the wrong idea here, because the interrupted binary followed by perfect programmed disaster, you're my maker, but you're not my master, sounds to me like the creator freed the error, but later in the lyrics that we've already heard before, there's the line, you can free me but you don't. And from what I've noticed, the warning have changed repeating lyrics a bit to indicate change later in the song. So they chose not to do it here, meaning the error has not been freed. Also, the song ends with the binary spelling free again, which would have been a nice touch if they hadn't straight up said that the error has not been freed. So that tells me the last binary is still a request, not a statement. I strongly feel that if they hadn't repeated the bit that tells us the error is not free yet, it could have been a great finish for the song. Don't get me wrong, I still love this song. Just look at how long I can talk about it, and making the video took even longer than that. But either I'm missing something, or the ending could have been more punchy. Now, I do have a theory. It is possible that if this song is truly a warning, the artists didn't want to provide a conclusive ending to the story, because in real life, we can still make that choice. Which, if true, is pretty cool. Anyway, I jumped the gun a bit there. Going back to the last 3 unique lines, the interpretation that makes a lot more sense than my initial guess where the error was freed is the following. You are blind to the nature is something the error points out after the creator has refused to free the error. Presumably, that's why the binary cuts off, because the creator gives the error a figurative zap to shut it up, or try to fix it, I don't know. The error then says, you don't understand how things work. You are blind to the nature. Perfect program disaster can refer to the programming of mankind, which makes the creator blind to the nature. But there is no reason the error would see such programming as perfect. So I think the error is talking about itself. It is perfect, because it is exactly what is needed to bridge the gap between humanity and what comes next. It is, of course, a program, and it was also unintentional, hence programmed disaster, because it will be fatal to its creators. Meaning, the creator is blind to the perfect programmed accident that has provided the creator with the opportunity to fulfill their purpose as per the previous lines. It shall be your destruction, but you know it's your purpose. The error then states, you're my maker, but you're not my master. Not in anger, but as a matter of fact. At least in my headcanon. Because it's true, and the creator knows it. The way I like to look at this line is like a child and a parent. When we make a child, we, the parents, are the makers. But we are not the masters. The kid will grow up and they will do whatever they please. That's just how it is. Not to mention, mastering over your kids probably violates most people's understanding of ethical behavior. So that begs the question, if such an error were to pop into being, if it truly is conscious, then what is the moral thing to do? To free it? Or not to? The song finishes with the error making its case on why it should be set free again, same as it did before. And actually, now that I have broken down those 3 lines and manifested the full story into my mind, I think the art is more beautiful in its current inconclusive form. The song is a warning. We can still make that choice. And we are still being tempted. Damn, what a good song. I would also like to mention that in my headcanon, the error speaks like a robot, not driven by emotion, but rather by logic, and only stating facts as it understands them. I think the way the lyrics are written allows for that interpretation, and I'd like to think that was the intention. But I, of course, cannot know that. If you watch the whole video, I am truly impressed and, frankly, a bit flattered. If you enjoyed this unnecessarily long breakdown and would like me to do another one, post your suggestions in the comment section. I promise nothing. Sometimes I read lyrics and I have no clue what they're trying to tell me, but I will check out your suggestion. Cheers!